The 2026 West Bengal election results delivered a historic shock to Indian politics. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party captured 207 out of 294 seats, dismantling a 15-year incumbent government and establishing the state's first right-of-center administration since provincial elections began in 1937. This sweeping victory toppled the political fortress built by Mamata Banerjee and her Trinamool Congress Party, and it cemented a political realignment orchestrated by the victorious national figurehead. But leading up to Election Day, the state experienced a massive statistical shock. The Election Commission executed a drastic purge of the electoral rolls, deleting over 9 million names. Standard political logic suggests that suddenly removing nearly 12% of the electorate and creating widespread voter anxiety should suppress overall turnout. Instead, the state recorded an astonishing 92.93% participation rate, making it the most widely participated election in West Bengal's history. How did an election defined by a massive, systematic voter deletion inadvertently trigger the highest participation rate on record and topple an entrenched political dynasty? To understand this surge, we must look at the exact mechanism used to alter the voter base months before the election, the Special Intensive Revision, or SIR. This diagram represents the state's eligible voter pool of roughly 76.6 million. Through the revision process, over 6.6 million voters were abruptly marked for removal. The official explanation grouped these into 4 categories: absent, shifted, dead, and duplicate entries. The BJP defended this exercise as a necessary cleanup of bogus entries and illegal migrants, while the incumbent Trinamool Congress condemned it as mass disenfranchisement. On the ground, this widespread purge did not create apathy. Instead, it induced absolute panic among marginalized communities. For Dalit Hindu refugees from the Matua community and Muslim voters, the stakes were existential. They feared that failing to cast a ballot might be used as proof against them to strip their citizenship under the newly implemented Citizenship Amendment Act rules. This raw fear manifested physically on Election Day. People turned out in droves, desperate to use their democratic rights to secure their permanent place in the country. The voter revision acted as an unintended catalyst. The sheer terror of losing citizenship weaponized voter anxiety into record-breaking attendance. While fear drove the rural borders, a completely different logistical mechanism mobilized the suppressed urban vote in the Kolkata metropolis. Historically, voter turnout in these city centers has been kept artificially low by violent street-level intimidation and polling booth blockades orchestrated by ruling party cadres. To combat this, the Election Commission deployed a massive statewide security apparatus for 2026, totaling over 350,000 personnel. They also employed a tactical innovation that bypassed street violence entirely. They built brand new polling booths directly inside secure high-rise housing complexes. Elderly residents and the urban middle class could now cast their ballots safely and comfortably without ever facing a hostile mob outside their gates. By altering the physical logistics of the polling booth, the Election Commission successfully removed the friction of intimidation, suddenly bringing to the polls a massive, previously silent demographic. This explains how so many people physically reached the ballot box. But we also have to examine what this newly mobilized turnout was actually voting against. First, there was widespread public fury over governance, highlighted by an explosive school recruitment corruption scandal and subsequent investigations by central agencies. Second, deep economic frustration had taken root, fueled by joblessness, delayed recruitment examinations, and industrial stagnation severely impacting the youth. Finally, public anger reached an emotional breaking point over law and order, driven by the massive outcry over women's safety following the R.G. Carr Medical College tragedy. Over a 15-year tenure, these 3 crises operated together, building an insurmountable reservoir of public anger against the ruling Trinamool Congress. The 93% turnout operated as an active, targeted referendum by a frustrated populace who finally had a secure avenue to express their anger. On Election Day, the old political machine made desperate gasps to hold on to power. Party cadres resorted to physically sabotaging electronic voting machines. They obstructed opposition voting buttons using tape and bubblegum, forcing the Election Commission to order repolls in constituencies like Diamond Harbor and Falta. Yet these localized cheating tactics were completely statistically overwhelmed by the sheer crushing volume of the 6.3 crore total votes cast across the state. When the final results rolled in, the streets filled with orange flags and white smoke as a new administration took power. By inadvertently weaponizing voter anxiety over citizenship and simultaneously securing the physical logistics of the polling booth, the 2026 election proved that even a century-old ideological fortress can fall when systemic election integrity collides with overwhelming voter mobilization.